what I hear a lot is, it's just easier if I do it myself. And I always reflect that back and say, actually, that's one of the most common lies I hear from my physician clients. What that really interprets what I'm hearing you say is, I want to be in control, and I'm not sure that I can be totally in control unless I do this myself. And when I really ask them, is it easier if you do it yourself? And the answer usually long-term is no, it's just easier for me to not have to delegate, to not have to worry about whether anybody else is perfect. So I think that's a good thing to challenge. And another thing about trying to do it all ourselves, or have physicians trying to do everything themselves, is I remember once working with a pediatrician, and we weren't working on time and stress management issues, which is normally what I work with physicians on. This was a case of kind of trying to decide what's next in the career. And she was telling me how she noticed, she was originally from South Africa. And she was a Black woman from South Africa. And she said it was very interesting to her coming to this country, because where she came from, her mom was a teacher and her dad was a teacher. They weren't wealthy people, but in the culture, if you had anything, you still hired other people to do things, because that was part of the way you showed up in service to the world, was to say, somebody else's needs this work, as a laundry person, as as the gardener. And so I offload the things that are not part of my vocation, which was teaching in her family, even if we weren't wealthy people. And she says, I come to this country and my co-residents are doing all this stuff, even though they have money, they won't hire anything done because there's this attitude of, I should be able to do it myself. And she says, don't you have something in your culture that says I should be providing these opportunities for other people to have this work? And I was like, I love that cultural perspective. And I love that lens reflected back on us in North America, to understand that this kind of maverick, I can do it all attitude is actually a really non-collaborative community way of living. And so as a side note, that trying to do it all ourselves, I think it's really interesting to think about our whole vision and values, and to see whether that's really needs to be as true as we make it.